Hey, how's it going? In this video, I'm going to be talking about what are the key differences between inbound sales and outbound commercial sales for home service companies. Hi, my name is Raleigh from PMHOA.pro, and we help home service companies build profitable and long-term relationships with property management companies and HOAs. More information in the description. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about what are the key differences between inbound sales and outbound commercial sales. Now, this is something that I've explored in other videos, but I just want to get to the meat and potatoes of this thing in this video. That way you don't have to click around to find it. And there is a huge difference between what these skill sets are and what's required of them. Most companies that you speak with that are home service companies will have a ton of inbound sales and maybe one outbound sales, if that. Most of them do not. In fact, in my experience, I have found it to be the case that if it's under a certain threshold of revenue, they usually don't have that person on board. It's only the larger companies that have that outbound B2B commercial salesperson on board. And we'll talk about why that is in this video. But what you need to understand about the inbound salesperson is that they typically, I would say almost 100% of the time, they target the consumer market. And what does that mean? Well, that means that the way their process of sales works is that the company will invest in advertising, consumer advertising, whether consumer marketing, Facebook, Yelp, Angie's List, House, Google, on and so forth, maybe some local publications, some magazines. The customer sees it. They see the advertising, they're interested, they call. Most of the time they'll speak with a salesperson, or they'll be directed to a salesperson, or they'll come into the store, something like that, where they're interacting with a salesperson. Now, the important thing to note is that those leads are invested, they have been purchased essentially by the company itself. So they're warm leads, right? The customer saw the ad, oh yeah, let me call. Right? They know what they're calling for. They're warm leads. That's why this person who does inbound sales is typically on commission. Not always, but they're typically on commission because the leads are already warm. The customer is almost ready to buy. Not always, but most of the time they just need a little prompting, and very good chance that the deal can be closed. They're certainly in the market, or they will be in the market soon for what they're calling in reference to. So that's the inbound salesperson. Now, their skills can be very, very diverse. They need to be a people person. They need to know how to follow up with people, maybe have an efficient system of follow-up. They need to be able to, make friends quickly and listen and things like that. But the most important thing is that there's a ton of skills that they don't have, or at least that they're not utilizing with doing inbound sales. Because, again, the most important factor in all this is that the leads are provided by the company. So it's similar to maybe retail sales, where someone is working at Best Buy, a salesperson, the customers come in, that person helps them to find what they're looking for, leads them to the cash register, right? Outbound commercial sales is an extremely different set of skills, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. I've referenced this in previous videos, but let's go through it again in case that you haven't seen it. So let's imagine this for a second. We're an outbound salesperson. We've been tasked with finding property management companies and HOAs in our area as an outbound commercial salesperson. So what do I have to do to get this thing off the ground? Well, the first thing that I have to do is I have to do lead generation. I have to find my own leads. Okay, I have to look into the community, do my own research, and find all of the property management companies / HOAs in my neck of the woods and the key decision makers under those companies. That could be maintenance coordinators, individual property managers, owners, maintenance supervisors. The list goes on and on, right? So after that, I then have to look at the company that I'm working for and determine, based upon what that company does, what are the competitive advantages that I can share with the customer. Because every company does have competitive advantages to some degree, but they may not be articulated in a way where the property management company or HOA would resonate with. So therefore, this person has to really have a very good way of articulating the vision of the company to the customer. They need to be able to create the presentation if the company does not have one, and most of the time they don't, because if you're talking with a commercial contact, you really need a presentation for many reasons, which I'll go over in another video. But it sets your professionalism it takes it to a whole nother level when you have a presentation. And if you don't have one, then this person, Outbound Sales, would need to be able to create it. PowerPoint, Google Slides, and they need to have some degree of design and some like sequence that they think is good to take the customer through. They need to be decent writers. Okay, they're going to be interacting over email, sending marketing materials. They need to create some sales literature. That's a skill set in and of itself, right? To be able to write well and express yourself well, written communication. Emailing. Now people say, hey, Raleigh, it's just email. Who cares? It doesn't take long. Well, actually it does take long if you have a laundry list full of commercial contacts that you need to get in front of. You could be burning all your time on email, and that's not a good use of company time to be spending all your time on email, because you could clearly pay someone a lot less to be doing email versus this person, the commercial outbound salesperson, which tends to be one of the highest paid employees at the company. Okay, and again, it comes down to efficiency. If you have, let's say, 1,000 leads in your neck of the woods and you need to get in front of them, well, imagine just copying and pasting the same email over and over again, and you need the emails to be opened. Okay, so this is a skill set. Telephone skills. Again, these people are not expecting your call all the time. You're dropping in on them, as opposed to inbound sales where that customer is well aware of who they're calling. These people are not aware that you're going to call them. So it's a different skill set that you have to have over the phone. It's a different command you have to have over the phone that if you're doing inbound sales, you don't necessarily have to have. And that comes with experience and being able to handle the objection. Okay, getting past the gatekeeper, things like that. All right. Presenting. You have to be able to present to the customer, hold their attention, deliver everything that you need to say so that they're being led by the vision of the company that you represent. This is another skill set. And the follow-up, most important part of the entire process is follow-up. If there is not an organized sequence of following up with the customer, they're going to forget about you in like 2 days. Okay, you could pitch the entire community of property management companies, HOAs, make the greatest pitch in the world in front of all of them. 3 days later, they'll forget all about you. You really need to get in front of them over and over again. This is scientifically proven. It's called follow-up, and this is another skill set. So that is some of the key differences between inbound and outbound sales. It's just simply a different set of criteria that they need to follow. That's why this person never works on commission. Never. Because they, number one, the value that they can bring to the company is exponential. Whereas inbound sales, you're talking about, number one, you're already paying for the leads. So they're already kind of warm. It's easier to close them. This person, they're bringing in commercial accounts. They could have 100 properties, 1,000 properties, 10,000 properties under their belt. One relationship from this person can be recurring revenue for the entire extent of your business life. It could be decade-long relationships that's paying you $1 million every single year. Meanwhile, this person is, you could fire this person, they could quit, and you're still making money from what they did. So that is something to think about, and I hope that answers the question that I posed, what are some of the key differences. And if you have more questions about this, you'd like to learn more about PMHOA.pro, link is in the description. Basically, we help home service companies, roofers, HVAC, plumbers, etc., build long-term relationships with property management companies, HOAs. We have a particular sequence. There's a live demo you can go through, and again, that's all in the description, and I thank you for watching.